Welcome to the place where your worth is non-negotiable, your peace is priceless, and your energy is guarded like gold. Here, we talk about letting go of the people who drain you, the power of walking away with your head high, and why you should never beg for a seat at the wrong table. We dive deep into the strength of silence, the courage to choose peace over proximity, and the ultimate act of self-love, letting go when it's time. This is more than motivation. It's a call to take your life back, to protect your heart, and to step into the rooms where you truly belong. If you're ready to stop settling, start healing, and live with unshakable self-respect, you're in the right place. Your transformation starts now. Listen. Your energy is everything. It's the fuel that drives your dreams, the spark that lights up your life, the heartbeat that keeps you moving forward. And yet, too many people treat it like it's nothing. They take from you without hesitation, they pull on you when it's convenient, and they leave you running on empty when they're done. You've got to stop handing out pieces of yourself to people who wouldn't even cross the street for you. See, there's a truth most folks don't want to face. You teach people how to treat you. Every time you let someone drain you without giving anything back, you're telling them it's okay. Every time you pick up that phone, knowing it's the same person who only calls when they want something, you're telling them you're available for the taking, and I'm here to tell you, you are not. Your time is gold. Your love is gold. Your energy is gold. And gold doesn't just get tossed into the hands of anyone who asks for it. It's valued, it's protected, it's guarded. You think a jeweler leaves diamonds lying out in the street. No, they keep them behind glass under lock and key because they understand the value. You've got to see yourself the same way. Some of you are walking around giving discounts on a full-price soul. You're pouring your best into people who give you their leftovers. You're showing up for people who wouldn't notice if you stopped, and the longer you do it, the more invisible you become to them. You can't blame people for taking what you keep offering, but you can take responsibility for what you allow. I'm not saying you shut the world out. I'm saying you get wise about where your energy goes. You can love people without letting them drain you. You can care about people without carrying them on your back. And you can still be kind while setting boundaries so clear, nobody can cross them without you noticing. And boundaries aren't walls. They're filters. They don't keep out everything. They keep out what doesn't belong. When you start living like that, you'll notice something. Peace. You'll start waking up with more strength, more focus, more fire for the things that actually matter. You'll have the space to pour into the people who pour back into you. But here's the hard truth. To protect your energy, you're going to have to disappoint some people. You're going to have to say no when they're used to hearing yes. You're going to have to let them call you selfish, when in reality, you're just finally giving yourself the same respect you've been giving them all these years. And that's not a loss, it's a shift. Because anybody who truly values you will understand, and anybody who doesn't, well, their reaction tells you everything you need to know. This isn't about revenge. It's not about cutting people off out of anger. It's about finally realizing that you have a life to live, dreams to chase, and a soul to protect. You can't run your race while carrying everyone else's baggage. You can't heal while standing in the same place that broke you. You can't keep shining your light in places that only want to dim it. So ask yourself right now, who in your life is making withdrawals without making deposits? Who leaves you tired, frustrated, and questioning your worth after every interaction? Who only remembers your number when they need a favor? It's time to stop letting those people have VIP access to a heart they've never earned. I'm telling you, once you decide that your energy is gold, everything changes. You walk different, you speak different, you stop chasing approval and start attracting respect. You stop over-explaining your worth and start living in it. And when someone tries to take advantage of you, you don't get angry. You just close the door and move on because you know you're worth more than what they're offering. Protect your energy. Not everyone deserves it. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. And I'm not talking about walking away with your shoulders slumped. looking defeated. I'm talking about walking away with your head high, knowing that you gave your best, knowing that you loved with everything you had, and knowing that your worth doesn't decrease just because someone else couldn't see it. People like to tell you that staying is strength, that if you just hold on a little longer, fight a little harder, maybe they'll finally realize your value. But here's the truth, some people will never see it, no matter how much you give. Not because you're not worthy, but because they're not ready, willing, or capable of appreciating what's in front of them. And the longer you stay in a place where you're not valued, the more you start to believe the lie that you're not enough. Leaving isn't weakness, it's courage in motion. It's you saying, I love myself too much to stay where love isn't returned. It's you choosing peace over pain, dignity over desperation, and make no mistake, that takes strength. Anybody can settle, anybody can stay stuck, but it takes a warrior to look at a situation, admit it's not right, and take that first step toward freedom. You see, when you walk away, you're not just leaving a person or a situation. You're leaving behind the version of yourself that accepted less than you deserved. You're stepping into a new chapter where your value isn't questioned, where your heart isn't taken for granted, and where your presence is seen as a gift, not an option. I know it's not easy. We get attached. We build dreams around people. We invest time, love, and energy, hoping it will be enough to make them stay, to make them change, to make them treat us better. But you can't fix someone who doesn't see a problem. You can't teach respect to someone who benefits from disrespecting you. And you can't force love where there's only convenience. That's why when you walk away, you do it with your head high. Because you're not walking away from love, you're walking toward it. You're not walking away from loyalty. You're walking toward the kind of loyalty that's mutual. You're not walking away from connection. You're walking toward the kind of connection that won't leave you questioning your worth. The world will try to guilt you for leaving. People will say you gave up. They'll say you're selfish. But those same voices aren't the ones living your life. They're not the ones waking up every day feeling drained, disrespected, or invisible. And if they were, they'd understand. Protecting yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. Let me tell you something. Your steps forward are proof of your strength. Every mile you put between yourself and what broke you is a declaration that you will no longer settle for half. Love for half. Effort for half. Respect. And if your legs shake while you walk, that's okay. Courage doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you move forward anyway, and here's the beauty in it. Once you leave what's wrong, you make space for what's right. You open the door for better friendships, deeper love, healthier connections. You clear the path for opportunities you couldn't see while you were stuck in the same place, fighting the same battles, trying to convince someone of something they should have seen from the start. Walking away doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you wish them harm. It means you finally love yourself enough to say, I deserve better. And that's not arrogance, that's self-respect. You can wish them well from a distance. You can release the bitterness, forgive in your heart, and still never go back. So, the next time you find yourself standing at that crossroads, remember this. Staying may feel safe, but it keeps you small. Walking away feels risky, but it sets you free, and freedom is worth the first shaky step. Walk away with your head high. You ever notice how some people will make you feel like you have to earn the right just to be in their presence? Like you've got to prove yourself over and over, hoping one day they'll finally see your value. Let me tell you something. You don't beg for a seat at the wrong table. If they can't see your worth from the moment you walk in, you're in the wrong room. There are tables where no matter how much you give, no matter how much you sacrifice, you'll always be served last. You'll always be treated like an outsider, no matter how many times you've shown up, stood by them, or had their back. And if you're not careful, you'll start thinking that's normal. You'll start thinking crumbs are enough because you've been sitting there so long you forgot what a full plate looks like. That's not where you belong. You don't belong in rooms where you have to shrink yourself to fit in. You don't belong in conversations where your voice doesn't matter. You don't belong at tables where your heart is invisible, your loyalty is taken for granted, and your worth is questioned. The right room? You don't have to fight to be seen there. The right people? They'll pull out a chair for you before you even ask. They'll see what you bring, and they'll value it without you having to beg for recognition. You won't have to audition for respect, because respect will already be in the air. See, the problem is we get attached to the wrong rooms because they're familiar. We think, if I just try harder, maybe they'll let me in. We try to prove ourselves to people who have already decided not to see us. But the truth is, you can't make someone value what they've already chosen to overlook. You can't convince someone to appreciate what they don't have the capacity to understand. When you're at the wrong table, it drains you. It makes you question your worth. It makes you think you've got to work twice as hard just to be accepted. And that's how people lose themselves. They spend so much time trying to be what others want, they forget who they are. But the moment you realize you don't need that chair, you don't need that room, you don't need their approval, that's the moment you get your power back. Walking away from the wrong table isn't loss, it's liberation. It's you standing up, pushing back your chair and saying, I don't belong here, and that's okay. Because there's another room out there, and in that room you won't have to fight for your place. In that room, you'll be welcomed, respected, and appreciated for exactly who you are. And here's the thing, you don't find the right room by waiting for someone to invite you. You find it by knowing your worth so deeply that you refuse to settle for less. You find it by walking away from anyone or anything that makes you feel small. You find it by understanding that your value doesn't increase just because someone finally notices it. Your value was there all along. It's just that some people don't have the eyes to see it. Stop begging for a seat where they don't respect your presence. Because when you do, you're telling yourself you're not enough. You're teaching your own heart to accept less than it deserves. And the longer you sit there, the harder it is to stand up. But once you do, once you take that step out of the wrong room, you'll wonder why you stayed so long. You have to believe there's a table where you belong, and when you get there, you'll feel it. You won't have to fight for space. You won't have to chase validation. You'll be in a place where your presence is celebrated, not tolerated. So if they can't see your worth, stop trying to convince them. Stand up, walk out, and find the room where you don't have to beg for a seat, because that's the room where you truly belong. There comes a point when you realize that arguing with someone who refuses to understand you is like shouting into the wind. It makes a lot of noise, but it doesn't change a thing. You can spend hours, days, even years trying to explain your heart, trying to prove your worth, trying to make them see what you bring to the table. And in the end, all you're doing is draining yourself while they sit there, unmoved. You don't need to prove your value to anyone. People who truly see you, people who truly appreciate you, they don't need convincing. They don't need evidence or debates or a presentation of all your good qualities. They feel it, they know it. It's in the way you show up, the way you care, the way you give. That's enough for them. But with the wrong people, you could hand them your heart in both hands, and they'd still act like it's not enough. They'd still question you, still doubt you, still find something to criticize. That's why there's a power in silence they'll never understand until you choose it. Silence is not weakness, it's control. It's you deciding, I don't need to waste my breath anymore. I don't need to keep repeating myself to someone who's already decided what they want to believe. Because once you stop talking, once you stop explaining, once you stop trying to convince, you take back the energy you've been handing away. And here's the beauty in it. Your absence speaks louder than your words ever could. When you step back, when you remove yourself from the equation, when you stop showing up to fight battles you never asked for, people notice. They may not admit it at first, but they feel it. The calls get quieter. The room feels emptier, and that's when they realize your presence wasn't just filling space. It was carrying weight. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. You don't have to slam the door. You don't have to make a scene. You don't have to write a long speech about why you're done. Just go quiet, pull back, and watch how the silence changes everything. Because silence forces people to sit with themselves. It removes the distraction of your voice, your effort, your constant giving. And in that stillness, they start to feel the difference between having you and losing you. You see, words can be twisted but absent. Absence is undeniable, but I'll be honest, silence isn't easy. We want to defend ourselves. We want to correct the lies. We want to make sure they know exactly what they did. But the truth is, if they cared to understand, they would have heard you the first time. You've already said enough. You've already given enough. And sometimes the only thing left to give is space. Don't confuse silence with surrender. You're not giving up. You're choosing not to waste your strength. You're saving your words for people who will actually listen, your heart for people who will actually value it. Silence is a boundary. It's a line in the sand that says, I know my worth, and I refuse to keep explaining it to someone who can't see it. And in that silence, you heal. You find clarity. You remember that your value isn't determined by how well you can argue your case. It's not something you have to keep proving over and over. It's already there, unshaken, untouched by anyone's opinion. So, if you've been fighting to be heard, if you've been explaining yourself to the point of exhaustion, if you've been going in circles with someone who just doesn't get it, stop. Step back. Let your silence speak. Because when the noise fades, the truth has a way of standing out on its own. Your absence will say what your words never could. Some people think that being close to someone automatically means the relationship is healthy. They believe proximity equals connection, that just because you see each other often or speak every day, it must be good for you. But I've learned the hard way. Being close to someone who drains you is far more damaging than being alone with your own thoughts. See, loneliness isn't just about having nobody around. Sometimes the loneliest place you can be is in the company of someone who makes you feel unseen, unheard, and unvalued. You can sit right next to them and still feel 1,000 miles away. And that's a slow kind of pain, the kind that chips away at you piece by piece until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. We hold on to people because they're familiar. We convince ourselves that any connection is better than none. But there's a difference between someone filling space in your life and someone actually adding value to it. Being physically close to someone who emotionally drains you will exhaust you faster than solitude ever could. The truth is, peace is more valuable than presence. You can't measure the quality of a relationship by how often you're together. You measure it by how you feel when you leave their company. Do you walk away lighter, inspired, encouraged? Or do you walk away feeling smaller, tired, and empty? That answer will tell you everything you need to know. Here's the thing. When you choose peace over proximity, it doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you start caring about yourself enough to protect your mental and emotional space. You start realizing that closeness without care is just proximity, and proximity without peace is poison. Some people are like emotional black holes. They pull you in, take everything you have, and still want more. And you can't live like that, constantly pouring into a cup with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you give, it will never be enough to fill them. That's why you've got to step back, even if it means being alone for a while. And yes, stepping back can feel uncomfortable. You might feel guilty. You might even start second guessing yourself. But here's what you need to understand. Your soul knows when it's in a place it doesn't belong. That heaviness you feel when you're around certain people, that's your spirit telling you something's wrong. You can ignore it for a while, but eventually it will cost you your peace, your joy, your clarity. Choosing peace might mean creating distance from people you love. It might mean saying no to certain conversations, declining certain invitations, or even walking away entirely. And while it's not easy, it's necessary, because peace is the foundation for everything else in your life. Your growth, your focus, your happiness. Without it, you can't thrive. Being alone isn't the enemy. In fact, solitude can be one of the most healing spaces you'll ever enter. It gives you time to recharge, to think, to listen to your own heart without all the noise. It teaches you how to be whole on your own, so that when you do connect with people, you're doing it from a place of strength, not desperation. Don't let the fear of being alone keep you chained to relationships that break you down. Distance doesn't mean the love wasn't real. It just means you love yourself enough to protect what's left of you. And once you choose peace over proximity, something amazing happens. You make room for the right people, the kind who lift you higher, who speak life into you, who make your world feel lighter instead of heavier. So don't measure closeness by miles or minutes. Measure it by peace, because at the end of the day, I'd rather sit alone in a quiet room, at peace with myself, than sit across from someone who makes me feel like I'm not enough. Peace is worth the distance. Loving yourself isn't just about treating yourself to nice things, saying affirmations, or posting quotes online. Real self-love is in the hard choices. It's in the moments when you decide to stop accepting less than you deserve. It's in the quiet strength it takes to let go of people who make you doubt your worth. Because the truth is, the right people will never make you question your value. The wrong ones will over and over, until you finally learn to let them go. The wrong people have a way of making you forget who you are. They chip away at your confidence little by little. Maybe it's in the way they dismiss your feelings, or how they only show up when it's convenient for them, or how they make you feel like you have to earn their love. You start wondering if maybe you're the problem, if maybe you just need to try harder, give more, be more, and that's exactly how they keep you stuck, by making you believe you're not already enough. But here's the truth. They don't get to decide your value. They don't have the authority to label you as less. That's something only you can choose to believe or reject, and the moment you choose to reject it, the moment you decide to let go, everything changes. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean what you felt wasn't real. It means you've realized that love should not come at the expense of your peace. It means you're choosing to protect your heart, even if that protection feels like loss at first. It's understanding that someone can matter to you without being meant for you. Sometimes we hold on because we're afraid of the empty space they'll leave behind. We fear the loneliness, the silence, the not knowing what comes next. But that space isn't something to be afraid of. It's an invitation. It's the room you make for better. It's the breath your soul takes when it's finally free from the constant weight of trying to prove itself. When you love yourself enough to let go, you stop begging for scraps and start expecting a feast. You stop chasing people who walk away from you and start walking toward the ones who run to meet you. You stop apologizing for being too much or not enough, and you start realizing you were always exactly what someone out there is praying for. And yes, letting go will hurt. It will feel like tearing something out of yourself. You'll have nights where you second, guess it, where you wonder if you made a mistake, where you miss the good moments and try to forget the bad. But with time, you'll see clearly. You'll remember why you left. You'll realize that missing someone doesn't mean you belong with them. It just means you're human. The wrong people will drain you and then make you feel guilty for being empty. The right people will fill you up without you having to ask. That's the difference. That's why it's so important to pay attention to how you feel around someone. If their presence makes you small, it's time to step away. If their love feels like a test you keep failing, it's time to stop taking the test. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. And when you finally make that choice, you'll see just how much of your life you've been spending trying to earn love that should have been freely given. You'll see how much of your energy was spent trying to be chosen by people who never deserved you in the first place. There is a freedom that comes with letting go, a lightness, a peace, a clarity. You start walking taller. You start speaking with more certainty. You stop settling, because deep down you know the truth. The right people will never make you question your value. Love yourself enough to let go. If today's message spoke to you, imagine what's ahead when you stay connected. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss a moment of truth that could change your life. Remember, you are worth more than what you've been settling for. Protect your energy, walk with courage, and never forget. Peace is power. Until next time, take care of yourself first.